Alright, I'm gonna start this video doing this new series that I've been thinking about, which does repeat myself somewhat for those of you who have listened to a lot of my videos, but it's gonna try to be a little more succinct in this series, and this series I'm tentatively calling, and it might be different in the title, but this series is gonna be called How Hard Would It Be? And this is going to go over, not in this single video, but over the course of the series, we're going to go over things in MTG Arena that the devs and the admins could change that would make it exponentially more fun and exponentially more enjoyable. And the running theme is going to be, well, they're not going to do it because then they'd lose so many cents to your misery. Like they'd rather see the player base more miserable than, like, they don't care about you. I mean, that's a running theme, but they don't care. They don't care how their game could affect people. Their one and only goal, like many modern gaming companies nowadays, or just companies in general, their one and only goal is striking balance. And when I say balance, it's a balance between making the most amount of money and having your customer base put up with you. And the modern companies tread that line. Rather than from the ground up trying to make a good product and have it sell, the idea is to maximize, the greatest kind of operant conditioning to where you're continuing to put the coin in the machine and give them money. And the only way that's sustainable is if you don't piss off your customers to the extent that they stop, giving you money, or they give you not enough money. So that's the line that they kind of try to strike a balance between, and that's the only real balance they care about. But anyways, I digress. This video series, again, we're going to be calling tentatively, How Hard Would It Be? And in this video series, or in part one here, since I just lost to, what was it? Traditional? No, not traditional. Since I just lost to constructed event, we're going to say, how hard would it be to increase the prize support here? This prize support is absolutely pitiful. So for 500 gold, we're not going to count gems because fuck them. For 500 gold, you get to enter into this, and the idea, it's their best of one. You can lose up to 3 times, whoop-de-hoo. Um, zero win. The goal is to win up to 7 times. Okay. Um, I know these aren't matches, and I know, like, I'm familiar with how Yu-Gi-Oh works in terms of the matchmaking process, and how, like, if you go to a tournament, um, how that looks in terms of how many matchups there are. And yes, you have to actually play a match, not just singles. But we're gonna say this is the equivalent of winning. It's basically the equivalent of winning a small to medium-sized tournament if you get all 7 wins. And that's the degree of which you're expected to perform. Because in a tournament, in Swiss matchup, you can lose. At least in Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm pretty sure it's the same in Magic, but you can lose, up to 2 times and still get a good chance of topping. And after 3 times, it's basically a good representation right here. Actually, after 3 times, it's pretty much like, you scrub out, you're done. You're not going to be topping. But that's what the losses here kind of allow you. It's like, this really here is really the equivalent of a small to medium um, tournament, because again, you're allowed these losses, and it's the same where, like, you can go X-1 or X-2 and still have a good chance of being in the top cut, whatever that may be, depending on the number of people. So this if this single 500 gold event, you're expected, not expected, but like the maximum prize is to basically win what is the equivalent of a, we're just going to say, medium level tournament. And for getting that, you get double the gold you put into it, so you net 500 gold and 3 cards. 2 rares, 1 uncommon. That's pretty effing pathetic. So, I guess to get back to the point, how hard would it be? How hard would it be for Wizards to double the output here? We're going to talk about gold right here. How hard would it be to double this output? We're going to, before we get into the actual math, here's what most people wind up doing. They're not going to jump into this and, from when they first started their account, they still have the new player experience decks. They know it's kind of out of their league. Um, so they're not going to be going into it. But the people who do have good, decent, tier 1 or tier 2 meta decks that come in and feel pretty confident that they can do well, they're going to get, a lot of times, they're probably going to finish between 2 wins and 4 wins. That's what's going to happen, because I lost here at this 4-win mark. And between the 1 win if it's just a really crappy day for them. I mean 0 if it's especially crappy. But a majority of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, they're going to finish on 2 wins, 3 wins, or 4 wins. Now, these games are already fairly high stressed, and you're going to have high stress games when there's currency of any sort on the line anyway. So you're already going to be playing the best decks. Um, that are trying to get more money for their account. So it's like increasing. I don't want to hear the argument of the more uh, prize output there is, it's going to attract more of the cancerous decks. I don't want to hear that. Whatever the prize output is, it's going to attract awful decks. I heard this one YouTuber who was talking about the Giant Monsters event, and he was taking issue with the fact that it's like, he said something like, "I thought we learned about this, Wizards. I thought we learned not to attach, gold as prizes." And it's just like, dude, how else are you going to get? Number one, how else are you going to get people to play? Number two, it's 250 gold to enter. If you finish the whole thing, you get a night. You net 250 gold. It's like, who cares? And it's a gimmicky event anyways. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to farm it like? If you have like the best deck ever, are you going to farm it 20 times and what, you made 5,000 gold? Okay. It's like the amount of effort that it takes just isn't proportional to the output. And that's, I guess, where I take issue with the kind of price support we have here, because it's the same thing. The amount of effort isn't worth the output. Like, if you do decently, like take what I did decently, which was stupid. I lost to a goddamn Skewer the Critics when I really should not have. Period. I was playing Semic Flash, for those of you who are wondering. I finished here at 4 wins. All of that I just went through was for nothing. We're not even going to talk about the uncommon cards, because that's going to be another video that I do in the series. But I come away with nothing but, experience and just being really goddamn salty. Um, and why is that? Well, it's because 4 wins, 500 gold. It's like, congrats, you get your entry money back. It's not fun. It's not proportional. So, like, how hard would it be, again, the video series, how hard would it be to double all this gold? 200 gold at 1 win, 400 gold at 2 win, and so on and so forth. Get 2 wins, which is already, like, it takes a certain level of skill to do anyways. You get 2 wins, you're up 100. It's like, yeah, even if you lose after the second win, it's like, well, at least I got 100 gold and, some cards. And it didn't take that much time. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you, like, losing at 2 is significantly less triggering than losing at 4. Like, if you lost at 2 with a double prize output, it's significantly less triggering than losing at 4 wins the way it is right now. Because that's, number one, you're up 100 gold, so at least you got something out of it, right? Number two, and again, we're not considering the cards. We'll talk about the cards in another video. So you're up 100. It's like, okay, that's fine, but at least you got more out of it than you put into it. But also, it's just 2 games that you had to win. Okay, and like, I guess, we're gonna say, how do I put this? We're gonna say that, two of the games that you lost were not decent, but like it's not like they didn't count for games played. And we're gonna say one was just a complete blowout. So really, it's like 3 to 4 true games played for your output of the 100 extra gold if they did double it. And so it's like it wasn't a complete waste of time, and it was kind of like short, sweet, and it's like okay, moving on or trying again maybe. You lose at 4 wins with only 500 gold. That's, let's see, 4 games you won and 7 you lost. That's 7 games. That's 5 to 6 true games to get nowhere. And it's so demoralizing when you get here and it's just like one more win would have at least, and that's one of the reasons they really should, which they won't, but they really goddamn need to double the gold output, because if the point to which it was worth your time, just in the smallest regard, to come and play this is 5 goddamn wins, that's a problem. Because if you hit 4 wins and then you just lose like I did, well, it's like, well, that's great. It was totally worthless. When if you hit the 5th win, you could at least say, at least I got something out of it. But you have to get to 5 wins in order to say that. And as you're trying to get to 5 wins with each try, guess what? One flight you got to 2 wins. One flight you got to 4. One flight you got to 3. One flight you only got to 1. Oh, look, in your 5th flight you got to 6. But you're still netting so much of a loss of your time and effort that makes these events just stupid. That's why this shit needs to be doubled. Because if you get to 7 wins, all right, you deserve to net 1,500 gold. And the same thing applies for the match events. It's the same kind of philosophy. Double the output because it's the same. It's a comparable amount of effort to try and get those wins that you're going for. Okay. Oh, what the hell was I talking about? If you get to 7 wins, 7 wins, when you're winning basically a medium-sized tournament, you should have a reward that reflects that. Give the person 4 times the gold they put into it. It's only 1,500 gold. Who cares? It's like, if you won 7 in a row, you've got, a decent skill level and a decent deck to be able to pull that off. Make it worth the time it took to get there. Because, assuming you lost 2 before you got to the 7 wins, that's 9 games you had to play. 9 fairly intense games because there's money on the line. It's all going to be intense when there's money on the line, regardless of what's happening. As long as there's money or something significant to win, it's going to be intense. It's not just your casual, just match up randomly. No, it's going to be competitive. And when you hit this point, people should be able to feel really accomplished, but the level of reward output that's at 7 wins really should be at like 4 wins. So to give you some raw numbers here, we're gonna say zero. Zero. Well, I mean, double all the output, double all the gold output for each one. So 4 wins would double what you got. That's pretty comparable to the effort you put into this. Say you're at 2 losses already, but you got the 4 wins. That's 6 games. That should be worth 600 gold. Like, come on. It really should be. And there's no reason why getting to 4 wins and only 4 wins just becomes a complete waste. There's no reason for that. Considering that, again, all decks that come in and try to play this are going to be competitive Tier 1, Tier 2 decks to win this money. If you can beat them out, there needs to be a reward comparable to that. So all this gold needs to be doubled. Now, talking about the cards that you get from this, it just needs to be changed completely. Okay, we're gonna, let's see here. What's a good example? So 3 uncommons. Let's say the first two, the 3 uncommons stay fine. When you get to 2 wins, it needs to start. Yeah, that's what we're gonna. Well, hell. Let's see. Okay, 2 uncommons or 3 uncommons is good here. 3 uncommons is good here. When you get to 2 wins, it needs to be at least 3 uncommons and a rare. 3 wins, same thing. 3 uncommons and a rare. 4 wins, you need to start going to 2 rares. 4 wins, 1 uncommon, 2 rares. 5 wins, 1 uncommon, 2 rares. And so on. And you get to 6 wins, it needs to be 3 rares, just straight up. And 7 wins, also 3 rares, but I feel like since if you win the whole thing, I feel like you should get a mythic out of it too. So really, this needs to be, at a minimum, 3 uncommons, 3 uncommons, 2 uncommons a rare, 2 uncommons a rare, 1 uncommon, 2 rares, 1 uncommon, 2 rares, 3 rares here, and for here, like 2 rares and a mythic. Because again, this isn't just go win a game. You're playing flights of people. You're playing people that have 4 wins, 2 losses. You're playing people that have 2 wins, 1 loss. Like it's not just randomized. You're not at 6 wins and playing someone who just got in it. They're matching people appropriately. And if you get this far, you need to be compensated in a way that was worth it. And I don't think it's too much to ask at all to, one, double the gold, and two, change the structure of the cards that are supported. Because, look at this is absolutely ridiculous. You have to get 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You got to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins before you have the chance at seeing a single rare. Because this whole at least 3 uncommons bullshit, you don't get rares. This is it's like daily rewards chance of you getting rares. It's very low. It's almost negligible. And the fact that you have to get 5 wins to see a rare is absolutely abhorrent. 2 wins to see a single rare is not unheard of. Like if you lost at 2 wins, you got a random standard rare, completely random standard rare, and an extra 100 gold and a couple uncommons that maybe you didn't have. That's worth your time. But the way it's set up, it's not worth anyone's time, and it's just frustrating and stupid and shouldn't exist the way it is right now. And the fact that, again, you have to get 5 wins just to see a single rare is stupid. The fact that you have to get 5 wins for you to get more gold than you put into it is stupid. And the fact that if you win the whole thing, all you get is 2 rares and friggin' double your gold is dumb. And it needs to be changed. It won't be, because again, they do not want to give you, they don't want to give you value. They would, if they could get away with it, they would give you 0 value. They have to do a system. They have to do up the system in enough of a way that makes it seem like you're not getting screwed. That makes it seem like you're not wasting your time, or where you could argue that you're not wasting your time. But it's pitiful the way it is now. And again, we're talking about this series is the How Hard Would It Be series, and it's referencing how much money are you going to lose. Basically, that's what you could extrapolate the meaning behind the series to mean, where it's how hard would it be. You translate it to how much really are you going to lose by making your game a more enjoyable experience. We're just talking incremental changes that they would never take because it doesn't interest them. Like it doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't benefit them if they go down that route, or they don't see that far ahead because they got the greed blinders on. But anyway, gold output needs to be doubled in these events, and the card structure needs to be changed. So let's go over to let's just go over to the traditional constructed and see. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the same thing. Double the gold output. If you win, if you win 2 matches, which is probably 5 to 6 games played, it's the same thing as it's basically the same thing as if you're just playing one of. The same amount of effort that's put into it. To have to get 2 wins to get back 2 match wins to get back what you put in, it's not good. You know, all this needs to be doubled. 3 wins to triple your money and just so on and so forth. Just double up everything. Jesus. Maybe okay, maybe even not double up as much as it should be, you know, shift the gold down a little bit and then double it up in some place or just increase it to where it's more worth it. But anyway, there should be some gold here if you don't get any wins, unquestionably. I don't know why it's not here. But in terms of the prize payout, I still believe it should be 2 rares and a mythic here, 3 rares here. Let's say, you know, 3 uncommons here. If you get a match win, I feel like there should still be a rare there. 3 uncommons here, 2 uncommons a rare, 2 uncommons a rare, 1 uncommon, 2 rares, 3 rares, 2 rares, and a mythic. I feel that that should be the way it is because, you know, it's proportional to how much harder it's getting. So that's all I got for this one. It just, in the how hard would it really be series, that's, it's just, it's going to be talking about things like this where it's you encounter things in the game and you can't believe that it's structured in that way because it's like you feel it in your bones that it's like when you experience it, your intuition tells you this was designed to be just under or just over the bar of too shitty to not do, period. And that's the wrong way to design games. It's just it's the wrong design. It's ethically wrong. It's just it's so stupid that I'm out of words. Just that's what this video series is going to be about. It's going to be about the tiny things that Wizards of the Coast could change to Arena to make it a good game, but they won't because they want to continue to let it be a subpar game, so people will continue to throw money at it or be miserable by it, and that's all I got for this. I hope you enjoyed this little discussion talking about the gold output of these events you can sign up for, and the card. Oh, excuse me. And the card output and how it just the gold output needs to be doubled, the card output needs to be revamped. That's all I got.